Hey, welcome back to Well Traveled. This is a continuation of the series that we're doing on changing your relationship with the sun. I think the sun might be the most revolutionary, simple, safe, free change that you can do to your health that really exists in all the toolboxes of all the medical practitioners. Very few people are talking about this. It's being driven by research from Dr. Jack Kruse, a leading brain surgeon. But basically, sunlight has a fundamental effect on our health that we've really only started to understand. And we're really going to a quantum physics level when we start looking at this. If you've seen my previous video on how important it is to see the sunrise, what we're talking about is literally frequencies from the sun that only exist around the time of sunrise that we absolutely have to have enter our eyes in order for our health to be optimal. And if you looked at that video, you remember it affects everything: our immune system, our digestive system. It isn't just a circadian clock. We'll be talking about jet lag on another video, but for here, we're going to be focused on a suntan. Now, everything you've heard from the conventional medical folks is sun's dangerous, stay out of the sun, use sunscreen, make sure you don't sunburn, tan is not good for you. I'm just here to tell you that I think all of that is false. All of that is based on shoddy research when you go back and read it. And two, it doesn't conform to the new research we're getting about how fundamental light is. And I mean sunlight through our eyes and on our skin. It isn't just a circadian rhythm issue that we're talking about, a sleep issue that we're talking about. We're talking about every chemical reaction, every hormonal reaction, just every bit of your body is working off of the information from the sun. That's why we put it in the category of quantum physics. We're talking about frequencies and the information from these frequencies going in and making changes to our body that can't be achieved any other way. So if you're a traveler, you're trying to stay on the road, you're worried about your health, this is the number one thing to do. Again, free, safe, with incredible effects on your health. So let's talk about how you're going to want to do it. The first thing is you're going to want to start off slowly. You're going to want to tan typically in the early morning or in the late afternoon. The 10 to 2 range is typically where the UV rays are highest. And so you don't want to start exposing your unprotected skin at that time. Keep in mind now, we're talking about not having on sunscreen, and we're talking about not having on clothes. So as much of your body that you can get exposed to the sun, the better. Now, this isn't just about vitamin D. This might be the only way to get the vitamin D that your body really needs. There's some evidence that supplementation might raise your blood serum levels, but not reach some of your critical organs, particularly your brain, the way they thought it did. The bottom line is, all these warnings we have about staying out of the sun, protecting yourself from the sun, they don't fit with the fact that vitamin D is essential to our life. If you have low vitamin D, you're going to have chronic health problems. What's the number one way to get vitamin D? What's the only way to get vitamin D that our ancestors had? Is in the sun. So it doesn't make sense that we would evolve with a system that requires the sun to create vitamin D, and yet then we have a medical advice to stay out of the sun. Those don't add up, okay? But it's not just vitamin D that we're talking about here. There are circadian rhythm clocks throughout your body. There's actually one that we know about now in just your skin. There's clocks in your pancreas, there's clocks in your liver, there's clocks in your brain. Now we know that we are light beings. We work off of the sun, and we have to have exposure to the sun. Now this is exciting, right? There's a reason why we love the beach. There's a reason why we feel better when we're at the beach. It's biology. It isn't just looking pretty from a tan. So if you start slow, if you avoid the high UV hours, then you can begin to build a solar calculus, a tan, which will protect you. Believe it or not, early morning sun has an SPF factor in it. It actually creates protection in your skin from the later UV rays. That's brand new information we never knew before. Now, you take me, most of my life I was a very dark redhead, Celtic skin with Scot, Irish, Welsh background. I couldn't be in the sun for 10 minutes without burning, so I avoided the sun to the detriment of my health, and I realize that now. So I'm really beginning to try to be very purposeful, and that's one of the reasons why I love to travel to the beach. It's the easiest way to change your relationship to the sun. So it's also the most fun way to change your relationship to the sun, right? Who doesn't want that in the background in January, right? So start out slowly, start off carefully. You don't want to burn. But there's one other little trick that you can do. Now, when I first heard about this, I thought it was nuts. But one of the reasons I'm doing this channel is I'm your guinea pig. I'm testing a lot of these crazy things out. So the argument is that seed oils are highly inflammatory. And they're in all processed food now. They're in all fried food now. They're full of linoleic acid. We're talking about safflower oil, sunflower oil, soybean oil, canola oil, those types of things. The argument is they're highly inflammatory, highly dangerous. There are many experts who believe that's been the main culprit to our obesity crisis, not sugar. And when you look at the graphs, seed oil consumption has risen really high at the same time that sugar consumption has really dropped. So there's something to this. But anyway, the argument is that seed oils are highly inflammatory, especially to your skin. So they go to your skin where they're oxidized. Now, when the sun hits that, you're going to get terrible sunburn, and it's going to happen quickly. Get rid of seed oils, so the argument goes, you won't sunburn. Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? I tested it. So this whitey tested it out. I waited about a week after removing all seed oils from my diet. I primarily did that by going to a carnivore diet for a short time. And then I got out in the sun, and I couldn't believe it. I did not burn. I'm now at the stage where I go out with my wife for hours on the beach, sunbathing, frisbee, walking, the whole bit, no sunscreen. I've not used sunscreen for years, and I've not burned once, not once, despite long-term exposure, sometimes even at the height of the day, right? Which I typically try to avoid the worst rays. So slowly build up on this tan and avoid seed oils, and you'll be able to tan in a healthy, safe way. Now, it's not just about vitamin D, and it's not just about your circadian rhythm. Also, the components of a tan, the melanin in your skin, your body uses this for some other chemical functions in the body. It uses it for energy. This is really incredible information. So there's so much more to a tan than just looking good or just getting vitamin D. And of course, vitamin D is critical. So what's going to happen if you begin to tan? Well, you're going to be happier, you're going to look better. But medically speaking, what's going to happen to you? Your sleep's going to be improved, your immune system's going to be improved, you're going to have more energy, but at a fundamental level, you're going to be operating at the most optimum level that your body can at that moment. So regardless of your health, getting the sun in your eyes, especially at sunrise, getting a safe tan, building up slowly, raising those vitamin D levels, activating those circadian rhythm clocks, all that is going to benefit your health without side effects, without cost. Very simple practice to put in place. And if you're in a cloudy area, you're just going to have to stay out longer. It may take you an hour out in clouds to get what you need. Whereas other times you may be able to start with 10 or 15 minutes and work up from there and get what you need in terms of exposure. But slowly build a tan, a promise you it will change your life. So, never stop sunbathing again. And don't use sunscreen while you're doing it. I have an entire video on sunscreen. I'll summarize it very quickly. It's a double whammy. One, you're blocking the vitamin D. That cannot be an evolutionary intelligent practice. And two, you're filling your skin, which is one of the most absorbent organs you have, with toxic chemicals. Chemical sunscreens are full of chemicals that are harmful to your health. Some are proven cancer causers. Many are illegal in Europe, for instance. And so if you do it right, you won't need sunscreen. Use a hat or use a mineral sunscreen on places like your nose or places that you know are going to be in exposure and you can't control that. Maybe you're on a tour or something, or at a sporting event, you're outside. But most of the time, you want to have free access to the rays of the sun. Also, pay attention to what clothing you have on. Light cotton clothing will still let some of that sun through, and you'll still get some of those benefits, although that's not preferable. You want as much of your body exposed to the sun as possible. You've heard people who sunbathe naked. You've heard people who sunbathe on the rectum. These aren't silly people. These are doctors. These are experts. There's tremendous benefits from having the sun reach those regions of our body. And so pay attention to your clothing. Get as much of your body in the sun as you can, and avoid synthetics at all costs. These are no good for your body. They disrupt the vibrational field that your body has. They also block the sun and can irritate the skin. This is especially true of these sun blocker SPF 50 type garments that you're wearing, right? You're blocking the vitamin D, you're blocking the information from the sun that your body desperately needs, and you're bathing it in a chemical dump where your incredibly absorbent skin is just taking all the chemicals from those fabrics. So there you have it. I think this is life-changing information. I think if you change your relationship to the sun, you'll change your health. I'm trying it. I'm feeling better. It's working for me. I hope it'll work for you too. So come join us. Subscribe, like, you know the whole drill. See you next time.